All you need is one killer track. At the new 100 on my list is Baby Driver. Welcome to a long play video. Oh, welcome down to the shop for a special bonus episode. There's been, there's been a few over season one. It's not Christmas, don't worry, you didn't fall asleep, and all of a sudden it's December. But today we are going to be talking about what is essentially the new number 100 on my list.
Yeah.
Having seen Four Lions drop outside of the top 100. We have to replace that film so that there's 100 on my list. And I've replaced that film. I think we had an entire episode about it, funnily enough, and then kind of never mentioned it again. But I replaced that film with Edgar Wright's 2017 Baby Driver.
So question for you before we even start then, because this is just to mess with your heads the numbers. So this is moving into number 100 on the list. Now, if we watch it and you think it's higher, does it get reordered in the list?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Okay. Chaos ensues. Like, who knows what's going to happen?
I mean, technically, there should be like the new number. I think 77 was what number was what number was Four Lions?
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, that was a big drop then, wasn't it?
Yeah, Four Lions was 88. So technically this should be the new number 88, even though obviously it's replacing a film. But let's say I think it's a good one to talk about why this is the new one and why it wasn't on the list to begin with. I think it's actually quite a good thing. But you've seen this film. You know it.
Remember this film? This is the key questions we come up with every week.
I mean, you are obviously Edgar Wright, occupying 2 out of the top 3 now, right? So you're a big Edgar Wright fan.
I do really like this film as well. I love this film when I watched this. I mean,
did you go to the cinema? Did you know about it?
I think I did. Yeah, I think I did go to see it at the cinema. And like such an experience. I don't think I knew too much about it beforehand. And like the acting across the board is just phenomenal. Everyone is just great in this, from what I remember. And just obviously the direction, music playing such a huge part in this film. And I know you said before, we've spoken about this, that if you listen to it with headphones, you hear the music constantly going in one headphone all the time and the dialogue in the other one, which is, like, little things like that are so cool. And it felt, that's really one of the things why I like Edgar Wright so much. It's just these little pieces that I think that elevate a film from pretty good to great. And I just feel like he just gets that. And maybe he's just, for me, I resonate really well with those things. But no, I really, really like this film. So why didn't it make it on then? What was the go?
Yeah, well, I really like this film. I knew about it and kind of had like research and stuff. And I remember going to the cinema, went with my wife and with a friend of ours. And I knew that it was all about the choreography and that that it all was set to the music to make it like it is a dance, and it is just sort of sensational. And it's funny, I sort of invited a friend but hadn't said anything, and he didn't know anything about it. And afterwards I was like, "Oh, did you like it?" And he was like, "That was amazing." And then he said, "You know what? I thought it was Boss Baby." I thought that we were coming
a very different film
to watch Boss Baby, and I was a bit like, "Why have you invited me to watch Boss Baby?" But fine, to come along. And then
he's thinking, clearly Andy's going through something. I've just got to be there for him. We'll just see what happens.
He absolutely loved it, and that's the thing. Like, even on the cinema, and I do think I bought some headphones down to the shop, so we should watch this.
Oh, nice.
With the headphones in. But just really, really enjoyed it. But the cast, I would say for me, there's kind of two things that kind of kept this
Yeah.
out of the top 100 the first time. The first thing is the ending, which I think is
Yeah.
weak. No spoilers, but yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like
But now
the
we have
ending is weak.
we have the fifth element rule, so that comes
Yeah,
into
exactly.
play.
Yeah. Although
Yeah.
it's very disappointing. And then yeah,
Mm.
secondly, yeah, the cast.
Mm.
There's some heavy hitters in it.
Yeah.
I
Didn't
don't
think the
I
cast
don't
were good?
no, I don't really. I feel like
Really?
they're a bit all over the place. And
Interesting.
Ansel, like yeah, as the main person, I think is good, but like I don't really know him from anything else.
No.
Um, and I think he's fine, but I do feel like it
I
could have, yeah, I don't know. There's just
I
something
think
that like making the main character just a bit cooler and a bit,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
like having a little bit more to him,
Interesting.
I kind of thought.
It
And
will
then
be interesting to see
it
then
seems a bit
how this
random. It's just every like John Hamm and
yeah,
obviously Kevin Spacey, but like Jamie Foxx and like
yeah.
Flea, like it turns up, and I don't know, it just all feels a little bit random. There doesn't seem chemistry
Isn't
between them
that
all.
Edgar Wright in a nutshell though? Like if you think Hot Fuzz, you think about like all of his sort of movies.
But don't I
They are
no,
a bit
I think
random.
the opposite though. I think like,
You think
there's
that
chemistry between
overstructured.
the cast,
Yeah, so you think there's
between
no
everyone.
chemistry between these people.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Like
Interesting. I'll be interested to watch it back
John
and
Hamm
see.
and Isa Gonzalez, obviously, like yeah, even though they're all over each other, is there actually chemistry between them? And
Yeah,
that
okay.
sort of is a bit over the top. So
Mm,
that's the thing. Like this for me, the film and the choreography and the sound and the music is all amazing.
yeah.
I'm just not sure, even like between sort of Lily James and Ansel, I'm not sure that there's that much chemistry. And yeah, for me, the
No.
performances are very much second to like
Mm.
the way the film is created
Yeah,
in
okay.
this. And I just feel like, maybe with the deep fakes,
Yeah.
yeah,
Could be coming into action.
would it be better if you
Oh,
like almost, I feel like you could recast this entire film
really?
and it might even be better. And so that's why like really
Wow.
enjoyed it, really loved it. On a couple of the post watches I've had, I'm just a bit like, yeah, like is there actually anyone who gives a good performance in it? I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
wow.
And so
I mean, I don't even know
that's
why
why
this
it
is
just fell
number
out.
100 at the moment.
Well,
You've
because
I don't know if you're underplaying it, if you're overplaying it. Mm,
because I do think the way that it has been created, like the way that the film is created,
mm,
and the choreography with the sound and the music and the action
yeah,
is amazing, and is almost something, yeah,
yeah,
that
it's
you
very
haven't almost
impressive.
seen before because it's
Yeah,
so good. And
yeah,
there's lots of stories about kind of Edgar Wright, giving the script to people, but like saying you have to listen to these songs whilst doing it. And he said, at the
okay,
very least, you'll get nominated for an Oscar for for the film editing, for the sound
yeah,
editing and stuff
yeah,
like
okay,
that. Um, which
interesting.
yeah, which they did. Um,
Yeah.
although they didn't actually win, funnily enough, for
Oh,
sound
really?
mixing. Yeah.
Who do you
I
know who
wonder
won?
who.
See who
Dunkirk.
it was. Oh God, go away.
That's a bit weird, isn't it?
Aren't there enough war films? Do we still need war films? We've got
Yeah.
it.
And
Harry
didn't win for
Styles is in Dunkirk. Glad I
yeah,
haven't seen this.
and editing as well. Went to Dunkirk, which yeah, again, like this is
Jeez.
so well edited. Yeah.
Well, wasn't isn't Dunkirk like one long scene or something? There's some. I vaguely remember something
No.
about it.
Yeah.
No.
No, it's not. I think maybe you think in 1917 has a very famous panning
Mm,
shot, but yeah, no, Dunkirk. I mean, it's Christopher Nolan movie,
yeah.
but yeah, so yeah, I do think it's an amazing achievement, like, and is very enjoyable on the first watch. I think that almost like rewatching you just, yeah, I don't know. I just always wanted something a bit more from the cast, which is why, which is why
Mm.
it was close, but didn't
Yeah,
originally get
okay.
in.
Well, I mean, I'm not judging from what you just said. I'm not sure this is going to stay in at number 100. Might have to do another bonus episode. I
This,
mean,
this, how far does the rabbit hole go? We're gonna just keep.
yeah, keep going on. What's at number 99 at the moment? Do you remember?
I think it's Limitless, isn't it? I think.
Oh, really? Oh my God. We got to talk about your list. There's some real
I think
problems
we
with
said
it.
with
You
Limitless, we
know.
can imagine it like I think the Fifth Element
Oh, the Phelan rule.
definitely comes into Limitless. But where
Yeah, yeah.
there's a couple of really good scenes, but he murders the girl in the hotel and no one, and then that's just there's a thread line that's just completely
Yeah,
forgotten.
that
There's
is
a
true.
there's a lot of Limitless that I think in is not going to stand the test of time. I think I remember from when we discussed it 2 years ago, we were a bit like, at some stage, this is not going to work as a
The
as a film.
well, when it becomes real, and then we're like,
Yeah.
oh, it's not the same as the film. It's a bit different. Um, yeah, I mean, definitely that the whole scene with the killing the girl that it's not needed at all. Right, like you can see that
Yeah.
he's losing control. It wasn't needed, but okay. Well, I mean, look, I'm looking forward to watching this. I haven't watched it for a while.
Yeah.
But I think I'm going to enjoy this. Yeah, the
Is
main
it is
guy,
this
Ansel.
because obviously
Mm,
Limitless is you said like was one of your top 10 movies.
yeah.
Is this on your list? Is this like how
No, I don't
popular is
think
this?
so. No, I don't think this is on my list.
Mm.
I would have to check. But yeah, no, I don't think this is on my list. Limitless, I think since we've watched it, has definitely come down. I think when I originally saw it and I'd read the book, and so there was a lot, I'd watched it, I'd read the book, then watched it, and so it was almost double whammy. Whereas, yeah, I think when we rewatched it, that's definitely come down. Definitely not my top 10 anymore.
Yeah,
Um, but no, I
because you've
really like
watched all
this.
of these great films.
Well, yeah, exactly. There's no room for yeah for them with all this. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to this. I remember it's been very good. I thoroughly enjoyed this, but maybe with a critical eye, it doesn't hold up, doesn't stand up quite as well. I think, yeah, like you said,
Yeah.
the main guy. I haven't seen that main guy in anything. The only thing I saw, looked at his IMDb, is in Tokyo Vice, which I haven't seen, but everyone says that's very, very good. It's a
Hmm.
TV series, but I haven't really seen him in anything else, I must admit. So don't know.
Yeah, and
Be
John
interesting to
Hamm sort of
see.
playing a bit against type. Uh, and then
Yeah,
yeah, Jamie Foxx is sort of a bit
yeah.
over the top. So
Well, I
yeah.
mean, it definitely sounds like they shouldn't be on your top 100.
I mean,
So,
it,
oh, it is
it
on my top
wasn't.
100.
So
Just checked.
oh
It is on
really?
mine. Well, hold on. What number was Four Lines?
88.
Oh, okay. Very close to where it was on my list for huge spoilers for season two. But
I mean, people, we're gonna have
yeah.
to watch it for season 2 as well. That's gonna be.
Well, anything that you've got on your list that's also my list, we're not going to review again. I'll just add more to it and move everything around. So I think
Surely,
there's
but
about
surely we want to watch those films because we both like them. But that's a conversation for
well,
season 2, I guess. So it's fine.
yes, yeah. I mean, we can watch them anyway. We just probably don't need to do another podcast on them. Um, but yeah, but that's fun because it means the list moves around a bit. Anyhow, look back to Baby Driver. Yeah, like
Back to a bonus episode, which is
yeah.
starting to feel a bit of a drag rather than a bonus. But
Do we what's your thoughts, and do you think this will impact your watching it now, the whole Kevin Spacey sort of stuff? It is very challenging, isn't it? I mean, you also want to try and sort of separate the art and the artist. And technically, he's to date now he's not been found guilty, but it seems unlikely that he was,
a
you know,
stand-up guy. He
yes,
was probably
yeah.
not a stand-up guy.
Yeah, it is a shame because we were, some of the things he's been in some incredible things. But so I think the thing when you watch it, like when he's on screen, certainly for the first time, you will sort of have a thought to yourself. I think of like, I don't know, doesn't feel great.
Yeah.
He isn't obviously the key person in this film, so I think that makes it more palatable to just be fine to watch it. Um, it is tough, isn't it? I mean, it's yeah, it's very difficult. I feel like the same like with Mel Gibson, like I don't really feel comfortable watching his films
Mm,
now, which is a
yeah.
shame because you think about like Lethal Weapon and stuff like that. But I just think the things that, I mean, I guess he has, he said these things and he's done those with, there's actual, evidence that that actually happened. Whereas I guess,
Yeah.
it's a tough one. But yeah, look, I mean, I
Yeah,
don't think
I
in
think
this film, no.
because at any stage, right, you're an actor, so you're
Mm,
supposed to you're playing a part, and the entire point is
mm,
that you're acting. So then I think if you've done something or there's something that then
mm,
makes your acting not work because people are
mm,
actually focused on you as an individual rather than anything
mm,
else, then I think that's where it kind of fails, right? Because you're like, okay, well, I can no longer,
mm,
focus on the performance because you are Mel Gibson rather than
mm.
Riggs, as
Yeah,
as an example, right? And that's, I think,
yeah,
sort of one of those
it's
things.
true.
Even when people are then like performances when they're much younger than
Mm,
whenever they know how old they are when they when it comes out, then maybe you don't associate it as much with them because
yeah,
they sort of seem a different person. But I think
yeah,
that's
true.
fair enough when like who they are or what they've done gets in the way of the performance, then
Mm,
and that is different for everyone, right? Some people will be able
yeah,
to just be like, yeah, I'm just watching a film, and
yeah.
then other people will be like, no, if I see
I
that
don't want to.
person, I instantly
Yeah,
think about everything that's been in
which
the
is fair enough.
newspapers and stuff like that, right? Yeah, so
Yeah,
it's just kind of, yeah, how much you sort of think about it,
yeah,
I guess.
whichever. Well, I'll tell you what, we've really rammed and hammed this one up massively. I mean, if people aren't going to enjoy this episode, I don't know they will enjoy. But I'm looking forward to doing yet another bonus episode where this drops out of the top 100 as well.
This will knock something else out of the top 100. You'll
Yeah.
be fine. Cool. Well, yeah, let's get
Cool.
on. Put your headphones on.
Yeah.
We'll get
Yeah.
it on, and
And see what
we'll
we
see
think.
what we think after the jump.
Disappointing.
Ooh.
Yeah. I don't know if
And for number 100.
well, I've seen this with well, hold on, I should caveat. I think that I remembered seeing this film before. So the memory I had
Classic.
of it, the memory I had was that I remember it being a really good film. But I think I mean, how long is it? It's hour and 50, right? And
Yeah,
I think it does like it feels long. Like there's times where
it
it's
does
just
feel
slow,
long.
right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
so slow at times, and I did think I was trying to think how they could have paced it up, and I think when they add in his foster dad and add that story in, and obviously that's how he gets the tinnitus, however you want to say it. But I was like, do you really need the romance bit then as well? Because you have like the connection, like the heartstrings with the foster dad and the backstory, and you have that connection. And I think those scenes are really nice and actually really add to the film. And
yeah,
while I think, she's good and the singing is great that she does and the way, I just don't know that you need it, right? Because you're then trying to shoehorn two sort of heartstrings, sort of romance lines into fundly what is an action heist film.
yeah,
So it's yeah, I think you definitely didn't that. It definitely felt slow at times for me on that. How do you feel rewatching it? Is it? I
yeah.
mean, it might be slipping out the 100 again.
No, I think it's really interesting and it is really good. Like watching it again, I kind of almost the question that I sort of made me think about was the sort of bits in the chases and the kind of shooting to the in time with the music and stuff, and then
Yeah,
when he goes
yeah.
and gets the coffee and like the words are all in the graffiti, that is very
Mm,
Edgar Wright, and that's
yeah,
very sort of Scott Pilgrim, and obviously like
yeah,
less so than Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz, and
yeah.
the Mile End, not Mile End, no,
World's End.
and World's End, but
Yeah.
like still kind of has that, and I feel like this film sort of it falls in between, and should Edgar Wright just be like his full Wes Anderson and just make
Yeah.
films in the style that he is great at and is really
Yeah.
watchable in. Whereas I think with this, it kind of falls halfway between being like super stylized and fun, which is sort of in a Scott Pilgrim, but then
Yeah.
trying to be also like almost a sort of straight action movie
Yeah.
as well. And so I think because of that, it doesn't quite kind of get into either
Yeah.
in a way. So then you're kind of a bit stuck in between where you're kind of like, well,
It's not
would
really hit
I,
either note.
yeah, would I put this in instead of Scott Pilgrim? No. Would I put this in instead of an action movie? Well, no, because it's kind of a bit over stylized as
Yeah.
well. And that, funnily enough, that is kind of why I remember it, that and why it wasn't in
Mm.
the top 100 even was
Yeah.
originally was because I do think again, like, maybe it's the Fifth Element rule coming into play, like the bits,
Yeah.
the choreography and the action is really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
But then, as you say, like the bits outside of the action, there's a lot going on because you have, you have
Yeah.
his foster dad, you then have the romance, you then have the like, I'm trying to leave the life of crime.
Yeah.
I'm still dealing with my mum and like the flashbacks to kind of show him how he is. So then there's
Yeah.
just there's a lot packed into that then you don't really sort of go enough into each of them.
Yeah.
So
It,
yeah, it just feels a bit like it's kind of it falls in between.
yeah, I think that's fair. Like I was thinking, it felt a little bit like it was trying to be a Guy Ritchie film. Like I don't know if he was deliberately
Yeah,
doing that, but it kind of felt like maybe that's because, as you said, it's a stylized action movie, which is kind of what he's very good at doing. And it just felt like, yeah, it didn't feel like an Edgar Wright film, really. It felt like it wasn't, yeah, like I said, it wasn't a full Edgar Wright. So yeah, I was a bit disappointed. I mean, like, I guess we said this with the Matrix, isn't it? That when it's good, it's great.
yeah,
But when it's not, it's not. It's like
yeah.
it's really not.
Yeah,
Um,
well, and I think like
yeah.
the sort of the tenseness they get with bats and like the sort
Mm,
of shouldn't we and stuff like that.
yeah.
Again, because there's so much going on. I think that's kind of it's a great through line, and I do think it works.
Mm,
Of like, at some stage you're going to have to get your hands dirty if
yeah.
you're oh, I'm just a driver. Well, no, like you have to take the
Yeah.
consequences, and so then that sort of that I think is a good storyline to go through, but then gets a
Yeah.
little bit lost and kind of
Because
it
of
feels
everything
like
else.
that's the storyline that they want of like, okay, well, what happens if you just come up against an absolutely
Mm,
insane person who's
yeah.
going to get you all killed, like yeah,
Yeah. What did you do?
yeah, what do you do? But it almost feels
Mm,
like in some ways they don't build it up enough, and then in other ways they're sort of almost too distracted from it, so that Bats is so different to the rest of the film that
yeah.
almost it becomes a bit kind of too cheesy and a bit too comic book, which again is kind of fine if you're going to commit to
Yeah.
that and have it as a bit of a comic book movie. But otherwise
Yeah.
you just you just kind of like, well, this if this was real life, this guy would have just been killed by now because he's clearly like
Someone would have
so
killed him.
insane. Yeah, that yeah,
Uh,
he would just be dead by now. So like, yeah, you
yeah.
kind of it just falls in between those two things, which
Yeah.
which is the
I
challenge.
think that was fair. I mean, I think like the things that I thought were good was like, yeah, as you said, the music itself is great, and then how
Yeah,
they choreograph it and connect it with the scenes is phenomenal. Very clever. I thought some good performances. I mean, obviously the driving's amazing as well. We should definitely note that because I almost didn't put that in. I was like, oh yeah, forget like the driving is also incredible. Should make sure that the stud drivers get a call out. And I actually liked John Hamm's character. They do obviously make him go completely insane at the end, but I quite liked John Hamm's character, the way he played it. He's like trying to be a bit edgy, and he's obviously a little bit crazy, but also he's like still connected with the real world. Whereas like Bass just seems like he's left the real world,
yeah,
that's gone. So I quite
yeah,
liked his character, but yeah, and I
yeah.
think there were some
Just
good
the
performances.
I mean, just the sound design as a whole, I think is really, really
Mm,
good. And like, yeah, watching it with the headphones on yeah, so you get much more of that kind of, the constant kind of
Yeah,
background music. And yeah, and I think that, even with that, I think, funnily enough, like dancing with the headphones on in the laundrette, sort of,
yeah,
it's a bit, it sort of takes you back because obviously, back in the time before wireless headphones, if someone was listening
yeah,
to a song or a girl you liked at school, and then you
yeah,
sort of, you shared the headphones, you were like,
yeah.
within the
That's
orbit
it.
of someone, and you're like, oh wow, this is what's going
Yeah,
on. So
yeah,
yeah, I did like that. And I think, and I think again, there are good bits to it.
yeah,
It just feels
yeah,
like there's just a bit too many things going on. You're not quite sure, focused on the
yeah.
right things.
I think you could definitely have removed the romance bit. I think for me, out of everything, that seems probably the weakest because the rest of
Mm,
it, you kind of like the foster dad was good, and I liked him doing those sort of bits with the foster dad. And the bit with Bats is, to your point, that's kind of what the ending part of the film evolves into. So you kind of need that bit if that's where you want to go. So I think
yeah.
in that case, you'd have to remove the romance. So, but yeah, let's talk about the ending. Because I know in part one you said, "Oh, the ending was terrible." So walk me through what you do, what you don't like, and was it as bad as you thought it was going to be?
So he gets 25 years with
Yeah,
parole after 5 years for
yeah,
double murder,
yeah,
and I think at least accessory to like another 10 or so murders, like minimum.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
and that's fine. Like he just
He's
gets.
getting
I mean,
five.
he literally does kill two people.
Yeah, he
Like
does.
no, there's
Bats
no.
and Buddy, right?
Yeah, like there's no debate about that. He literally does
Yeah,
just kill them. And so and then
yeah.
in prison, first, I mean, prison uniforms that are white. That's a bad idea. I mean, they're going to get very muddy. The cost of washing those is going to be
I love that you
horrendous.
think they're getting muddy. I was thinking bloody, but yeah, I see. You're going to a lovely prison.
I mean, it seems like quite a nice prison.
Yeah.
And then like letting him out at the end, which again is, I mean,
Hmm.
even with the romance, if he was trying to get out of the life of crime just for himself, almost you
Yeah.
then don't need that like
Yeah.
reunion
True.
at the end, right? You just sort of say, serve your time, get out, and if there's, someone sort of waiting there, or there's like a car waiting there, and
Yeah.
just sort of a smile on his face of like, yeah, I'm going to get to drive again. It kind of,
Yeah.
then doesn't go quite so cheesy, because that ending and her sort of standing there,
Yeah.
it's just weird, isn't it?
So let me walk this through you. So that ending, I think you're right. It is, 25 years, moved down to 5 years for terrorizing everyone, multiple murders, gets out, and it's a corny, cheesy, cheese romance at the end. Walk me through how the chef ending is good, but this ending is bad.
First of all, no murders. He's got no murders on his record, so
That we
that's
know
fine.
of.
No, but like
He
it's
murdered
not
that ganache. It's
yeah, that lava cake. It's a frozen ganache. Uh,
oh
yeah,
dear.
no, but idealized is fine, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I get what you mean. The chef, like, it builds to that, and I think if you really like the rest of the film, you'd be happy with that ending.
you
Whereas
just you want
this ending
resolution. You
doesn't
you you
work.
want resolution in Chef. You could, for all of your oh, we don't need the happy endings. As we say,
Mm.
we tried that with Every Which Way But Loose, and then everyone hated it because he didn't get the girl, he didn't win the fight. Clyde stayed, and then he had to go
Well,
into Every Which Way You Can, so that it ends happily. And then no
yeah,
one's happy with that as a weak sequel.
it's,
If we
it,
hadn't have had the restaurant for Chef, we would have had to have a sequel where then he gets together with the mom, and the entire sequel is
oh
just him
god,
building up his restaurant, and you wouldn't be
yeah,
happy with that either.
we
Chef
wouldn't
2.
want that. No,
Let's
no.
pitch that. Let's pitch that anyway.
Was there
Yeah,
anything new that you
so
noticed?
and with the guy that is at the robbery, who sort of fights them, he has a like
Hmm.
machine gun. on his seat. I don't know,
Yeah.
like that seems a bit
Yeah.
like fair
I
enough
noticed that.
if he has a pistol or something, but you're like,
Yeah.
what?
Who has a
It's,
casual Uzi on the
yeah,
on the front seat? Was he
yeah.
like, I was about to rob this place? What are you doing?
Why are you here?
Yeah. Yeah,
So
the Uzi was a bit weird.
that was a bit, yeah, that was a bit over the top, but I get it.
Yeah.
I thought when they were selling the guns and he was explaining all of the cuts of meat,
Yeah.
I
That
actually
felt
got quite
very Guy
hungry.
Ritchie to me.
Actually,
Yeah.
I was actually
Well,
like,
back
oh,
to chef. Yeah.
I could go for some Iberico right now.
Uh,
Maybe this and Chef is in the same universe. Maybe.
yeah, maybe. Maybe this is the double feature. Yeah. That felt very Guy
Um,
Ritchie to me. I thought that scene, like
mm.
doing something like that, feels very Guy Ritchie.
Well, again,
But
like because they're sort of having the dialogue and they're sort of doing it all, but then the shooting itself to the music is
yes,
then
yeah,
like what he's trying to do. So
yeah,
like I guess yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? Because how do you have it
yeah,
stylized but try and keep it in
yeah,
the real world? But like yeah, I think you just don't try
yeah.
and keep it in the real world.
And you're gonna like try lots of different things, right? It's like we try, whenever you're trying different hobbies or things. Obviously he's got certain styles he's tried, and he might have thought, I really want to see if this works with a heist movie. And yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it was, I remember it coming out and thinking it was good. Like watching it now with a critical eye, I probably think it's less good, but it's still, not great, but still like it was a fun, enjoyable film, and it's still
Yeah.
some of it's super intelligent and very clever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I
I
think you're
do
right. You've got to try things, haven't you?
I do love the Mike Myers masks. I think
Oh, that's so funny.
that's still a great gag, isn't it? So
I mean, I was thinking when he said that, because obviously I couldn't remember it, but I was like, I wonder if he gets like Austin Powers mask because this is going to be, and then that's what he did. Yeah, that was good. Yeah, I noticed.
uh,
I didn't listen to it with headphones, but I noticed when he pulls his headphones out, or he doesn't have them because he's on the run and stuff. You hear the buzzing, so
yeah.
like as if like the, so like what
Yeah.
he must hear in his ear. So I noticed that, and that was interesting.
Yeah,
But
no, it's good, and yeah, like the sound design. If you watch it with headphones in, it is really
yeah,
good, and like everything is on beat and stuff like that. And funny
yeah.
enough, yeah, even with kind of even with bats and like that last heist, yeah, it is a bit more tense than I
Mm,
remembered, and like
yeah.
I think it is like up until that, but I'm also a bit like, well, why would anyone want to do it? Like, why? Like, surely even like John Hamm and the lady would just be like, no, we're not going to go
Yeah,
and do this. We just killed a
yeah,
bunch of
yeah.
cops.
You're right.
Like, why would
You would
why would we
definitely
do
have all
this?
said no. And that was the thing. They all hate bats, and then they all go when bats goes, "Oh, they fired first." And he's like, "Is that?" And Kevin Spacey's like, "Is that true?" And everyone's like,
Yeah.
"Yeah." I'm like, "Well, but he's going to kill him, and you all hate him. So why? Is it just the greed? Is it the money that like?"
Yeah.
Yeah, that did
Maybe.
seem a bit strange. You're like, why has
Yeah.
that happened?
They think bats are gonna kill him, but that's like I do think like that's the moral quandary as well, isn't it? Is that if you're in that position and you know that he's going to come and kill you at some stage,
mm,
do you then murder him? And it does kind of seem
yeah.
that like that
Well, and we
decision
knew,
seems to be
but
like
they already
easier than
knew
maybe it
from
should.
in the car though. He already knew that Buddy was going to kill him because
Yeah,
Darlin had said he looked at me funny, and so
yeah,
like, do I need to kill him? It's like, well, not until after the job's silly, and so like they know that Buddy's going to kill him anyhow. So
yeah.
like, yeah, I think that's a bit clumsy, that whole piece. But what about was it? I didn't really think anything dated it. It kind of was of its time. Was there anything that you had on that?
No, I think
Yeah.
just that. Yeah, obviously with kind of a couple of other movies now under his belt as well. It is interesting that like as I say, Wes Anderson has just
Mm,
stuck to his type of film, right? And now he brings
yeah.
out a Wes Anderson film, and box office
Yeah.
is up and down. Whereas Edgar Wright, I do think has a very sort of recognizable style. It's fast edits. It's like
Yeah.
all of those stuff. Music being integral, and he's kind of with this, and then Last Night in Soho, he sort of stepped away from that a little bit. And I do think I do,
Mm,
yeah, I just think it's interesting that like he needs almost sort of for that to be justified, he needs one of his films to almost be as beloved as like Shaun of the Dead or Hot Fuzz or Scott Pilgrim in particular.
Yeah.
And I think it's sort of interesting that now obviously he's doing an action remake, and we'll have to see kind of what that is and how straight that is. But
Yeah.
like it's just, I think, super interesting of the sort of, it almost shows how difficult it is for Wes Anderson, where I'm sure lots of people have said, well, why don't you just, you can still sort of use a few of your tricks, but why don't you do, like this type of movie or that type of movie? And he's like, no, I'm only going to make the movies that I want to make. And it feels like Edgar Wright is, I think, because he is a cinema fan, he's kind of like, well, I'm going to try and make all of these other films. And, like, is that the right decision? Yeah, I'm not sure.
I guess it's hard, isn't it? Because you probably want to, push yourself as a director as well and try different things. But
Wes Anderson doesn't. He doesn't want to try. He doesn't want to try other things.
I mean, I reckon he in his earlier career, right? And now he's just like, I know what I know and I know what I like, and I'm just going to make that. It's a bit like Adam Sandler, right? Like he plays the same character in every film. Yeah. We just saw Happy Gilmore 2, and it's like, I don't know. It was funny. I was like, God, this is going to be terrible. And then Trish was watching it, and we were talking about like how he's done so well. He's got the biggest deal with Netflix, loads, and I was like, it just must be a great audience for him. And good luck to him. Why not? I mean, certainly if you can milk it, and then he's got all his family in it as well. Great idea. Why not do that? And then
bringing them through.
Yeah, and it was exactly as you'd expect. And I was like, oh, this is pretty terrible. And Trish was just sitting there laughing her face off. She couldn't stop laughing. And I was like, you're the problem.
The audience.
You're
the problem.
Yeah. This is what's happening. This is why, people don't want to watch them, then they watch it, they find them hilarious. So
but this is the thing, right? Because that's the thing. Then now by the sounds of it, Trish can go and see an Adam Sandler movie, and she is going to love it. And it's the same kind of, you go and see a Wes Anderson movie. Yeah, I think with this, you can go and see an Edgar Wright movie, and with this, you can be like, okay, this is still an Edgar Wright movie. I think then Last Night in Soho becomes not an Edgar Wright movie. Like it's
I've not sort of seen that. Is that any good?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting in its own way, but it's not an Edgar Wright movie in the way that you would think of an Edgar Wright movie. And there are like flourishes, there are bits of it. And now, we'll have to see what Running Man is like. But it kind of feels like this is the film where he starts stepping away from that. And that's, as you say, actually, that's fine. If you've got an audience and you just play to the audience, then you've still got an audience. If you try and make the audience bigger and try different things, I don't know. If you think of sort of when Adam Sandler's tried to do, more, different things, where even the critics have kind of liked it, like Hidden Gems, which I've not seen, but he was supposed to be good in.
Yeah,
but then he doesn't have but then he doesn't have the audience because people are like, this isn't going to be an Adam Sandler movie. So I think it's just I think as any artist, you kind of like, do I mean, again, this is why Chef's so great. Do I play the hits or do I try something else? It's so deep, that film, Kev. I can't understand it.
I know, and look, just so lucky he fell on his feet and just everything worked for him at the end as well. Like that's normally exactly what happens.
Stay true to yourself, and you get the biggest,
and everything's fine.
You get the biggest contract in Netflix history. You see, that's exactly. Chef is basically predicting Adam Sandler's movie career.
Who would have thought that we would make that natural link between Chef and Adam Sandler? What a comeback!
I did think while I was watching this all, I did just think, imagine if this was number 100. Imagine if we'd started the pod like your expectations and your like everything for the entire list would have been different. That multiverse is just so different, where you're like, oh, like I like this movie, but I don't like this movie as much now. Is Andy just gonna go through all the movies I like and ruin them? It would have just been completely different.
Yeah. Yeah, and as it was an eclectic mix of just lots of different. Well, you went for an eclectic mix. Some of them hit really well, and some of them missed really badly. So, you
But
know,
an Andy movie keeps
yeah,
the audience coming back. So
it does indeed. Well, what did you have for deep fakes in this? Because I know we said in part one, you said you'd probably recast everyone.
yeah.
Like, do you want to do a full recast, or do you want to just or would you just do deep fakes and see who you
Well,
deep fake?
I mean, I thought like a young Keanu, I think
Yeah,
as baby would be
yeah,
good.
I
And
thought
then
the
I thought
same.
about maybe Swayze as the Kevin Spacey character, and then I thought, is that just a
Interesting.
remake of Point Break? And then I thought,
Yeah.
is every film just a remake of Point Break?
Is this Point Break? Point Break does heist.
Basically, for every film is Point Break.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like you can understand like Baby and Deborah being Gosling and Stone would just like elevate it
Mm.
so much.
Yeah.
Like if you had people that have that
Yeah.
chemistry,
Yeah,
I
for
just
sure.
don't. Again, I don't
I
think the
agree.
two of them have that instant chemistry that you kind of need because actually like it is that they meet and it's and then his
Yeah.
life completely changes around, right? Because he doesn't talk to
Yeah.
anyone, and then like they're supposed to meet and all of a sudden he wants to talk and he's flirty and
Yeah.
he's funny and stuff like that, right? So you need that chemistry to be off the charts.
Mm.
And yeah, for me, I just don't really feel like they have that chemistry.
Yeah, and I think you're right. I think the chemistry between him and his foster dad was better. That was more felt
Yeah,
more connected.
yeah.
And so that's why I feel like you didn't need both. You'd have to have one or the other, and maybe you'd push the romance piece a bit more. I had the same as you, Keanu as baby. I thought that would work. But then I had Emma Stone as in Spacey's role. I thought she would play like she plays a
Yeah,
good
nice.
villain. And
Yeah,
then I
yeah.
thought
Was he
then you've
slow?
got
You can
Swayze
imagine
as
him.
Bats. I thought Swayze could definitely do
Oh yeah.
that. And then you're left with you choose Gosling or Ham as buddy because I thought John Hamm was good, but yeah, Gosling I'm sure would do well in that as well.
I
So
mean,
yeah,
again, I'm not sure. Gosling just crying,
you just don't got
just
yeah
crying to himself
hasn't got the
slowly.
coolness. So yeah, I could imagine Swayze's bats, and I thought Stone
Yeah,
as in Spacey's role would be quite amusing.
yeah, yeah. We'll
But
do. Yeah, you can have the deep fake.
what character then did you have?
Yeah, I didn't, and I thought maybe that's part of it as well. I don't really feel
Yeah,
like you don't really want to be any of the. Or I didn't really want to be any of the
yeah.
characters.
Be careful what you
Uh,
say.
White buddy.
Yeah.
Uh,
You didn't want to
yeah,
be
no.
policeman 76 who gets shot in the leg or like
I mean, I think Sam. I think the kid's the funniest character almost, and he goes
he is
in.
good. Yeah, he is actually brilliant, isn't he? I've got them
Chip
all
off the
for
old
you.
block.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's
So yeah, no, that's kind of thing.
fair
I don't
enough.
think there's any of the characters that you particularly like or want to be,
Mm,
which I think again is like missing a bit of
yeah.
a trick. Did you have
Yeah.
Buddy?
I did a buddy, yeah. Just seemed like he was having a good day. That seems like my normal Monday. So
Yeah.
yeah, no,
Just
I thought buddies
drugs, sex, action, and violence, or
yeah.
whatever it is that he says.
Probably psychosis, I'd imagine as well. Yeah, because you're right. There's none of them really delve deep into their characters, really, apart from obviously Baby. Like you don't really see
Yeah.
deep into Kevin Spacey's character. You don't really see deep into anyone's character, really. It's only Buddy you see a bit more of. But yeah. So like, I was struggling to see like to pick one, but I think you're right. Actually, the nephew is probably the winner. Like that kid was great. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and I did that. That's right. It's one of my favorite lines is
yeah,
when it's how old is he? And he's just 4, and he's like 8.
yeah,
And that's the funny thing because it's true.
yeah,
If you're not
yeah.
around kids, then you just
You
have
have
no
no
idea how
idea.
old kids are
Yeah,
actually.
you're
So,
like, yeah, he looks tiny. So yeah, so yeah, lines then.
yeah, I
Favorite lines?
know. When they're talking about like that he was in a crash and he lost his mum and stuff, I think it's funny that
Yeah,
Bats is just like, "Hey, buddy, you seen that violin I had? I left it around here." I think that's
His
funny.
character is absolutely bonkers, isn't it? I think he has most of the best lines as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. Because yeah, he also says you don't need a score for a score, and I think that was
Oh, yeah,
yeah, I
nice.
think that was
Yeah.
good. And then yeah, you rob to support a drug habit. I do drugs to support a robbery habit. Is a good one.
Yeah.
Spacey with his "I need 4 pairs of eyes and 3 sets of ears," I think is
Yeah, that was a good
yeah,
one.
it's a good one.
Yeah.
And then I think it's quite funny at the end when he says, I just need one thing, and that's us, music, and the road." And she says, "But we don't have a car or music." And you're like, yeah, okay, fair enough."
Problem. Yeah.
You're always coming up with problems, Deborah. But you come up with some
Yeah.
solutions.
This is why people haven't made songs about your name. You just keep coming up with problems.
I mean,
Where are
I
the
do think that
solutions?
she does not choose well. I don't think he's someone that you choose as a potential boyfriend. So
No. What do you do? I'm a
he's
driver. Oh, interesting. Yeah.
he's just creepy all the way through.
Yeah.
How about you? Any other lines you had?
I had the guy in the first group who has hate tattooed on his neck, and he gets the E changed to like a love, so it says hat, and he's like, who doesn't like hats?
He doesn't like hats.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
That was good. And then I think this is Bats as well, where he's like, "Do I look like I know a thing about Barbra Streisand?" And so, when they're talking about the music,
And they're talking about Queen and Barbra Streisand.
Yeah.
He's like, "What? What's going on?"
Yeah. What about the pod then? Did you have one for the pod?
I just had in this business, the moment you catch feelings is the moment you catch a bullet. I don't know. It just
Wow.
just felt like, you know,
That felt
you,
apt.
you have to, you know, I know that you have to have some emotional distance from these films because otherwise, you know, we're going to get cancelled. So that's why I always feel like you're a bit standoffish and you don't fully commit emotionally to the films.
Look, 50% of the audience like you, and yeah, that is a good one. Yeah, always on your toes, never know what's going to happen. Right up until the last 15. I had it's about something beautiful. Sorry, I had it's about making something beautiful out of something ugly.
I was like, oh, that's nice. Wait, no, that's not nice. The list is ugly. The podcast. Wow, yeah, lots of interesting reviews.
Yeah.
A few just short ones. The premise of this film is questionable. I feel like that's you know, that's fine. It fell between a serious film and a comedy. 100% agree. Not sure Cruise was the best man to play this part.
Oh, think they watched the wrong film. Do you think that's Night and Day?
I mean,
Could
no,
be.
because it says not sure Cruise was the best man to play this part, and obviously Cruise is awesome.
And he was.
in 9 Days.
Yeah. True.
Well presented product, but the review said this was a good film. I'm sorry, but I just thought it was a poor man's version of the Jason Statham film, and it was annoying. It was a poor man's version of the Jason Statham film. That person's world is about to be exploded when he realizes there's more than one.
What?
Long play video season 2. Believe me, you're going to want to be there, this person.
Get ready for the Statham off.
Get ready. And then someone said they didn't like it. I do, however, have tinnitus and can confirm listening to your headphones does work, as it does for our protagonist. So a little bit of health warning in there. Someone bizarrely said, I do like the way the subtitles were added. Baby lives with Joseph, who's a deaf mute, so they converse in sign language, which is naturally subtitled. But the subtitles are large, well placed, and easy to read, but unobtrusive. Someone put a lot of thought into that.
Yeah, 3 stars.
Yeah, nice. Someone put a lot of thought in that, so I'm going to leave a 3-star review so they never see that someone actually appreciates it at all. And then someone was pretty critical of all of the performances, and then said Kevin Spacey was coasting, and then in brackets probably had his mind on other things.
Wow. Jeez. He's actually not really in many scenes, to be honest, is he?
He's not.
only in a few scenes.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then just for we like a bit of a story and a bit of a movie and a three-star review. Fantastic film. Why did I end up with a Polish DVD case? It was a present for my daughter, and in the rush to wrap up gifts at Christmas, I hadn't noticed the writing wasn't English. She noticed when unwrapping, and I felt a bit sad I'd messed up one of her presents. Oh.
Oh, messed up Christmas
Hmm.
by trying to save
Ruined,
£2 from
ruined
Amazon.
Christmas because he didn't realize
Oh,
he'd bought the
this
Polish
one's
version.
£2 cheaper. Let's get that one.
I wonder how old
No,
his
you know
daughter
what?
is. If he's buying
Yeah,
a Baby Driver,
Baby
but
Driver.
feels like he can mess up Christmas by
Yeah,
not buying her the right version.
I
Maybe a
mean,
teenager.
it's a big film,
Uh,
you know.
what did you go for double feature then? Did you go
Well,
did you go full action?
uh, I contemplated one, but I think it was too obvious. So I thought
Beekeeper.
we want
Because you say beekeeper for
obviously.
everything.
Um, I wanted to go with like a more of a comedy heist film that works well. So I went with Hudson Hawk.
Ah, nice. The classic.
Yeah, to
I
the
feel like
classic,
that's
to the music.
been, yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
feel like that. Yeah, it's timing to the music. That's true. That's
yep,
good.
yeah,
That's a
yeah,
good connection. Nice. I
yeah.
feel like we've had Hudson Hawk as a double feature before. So
I think we have. Yes, yeah, it is a good
I
movie.
presume
Everyone
we'll
should
be
watch it.
watching that in season two.
I mean,
I went
who
for.
knows?
I actually did go for Night and Day. I was just like,
Oh,
yeah, no,
did
that would
you?
be a bit,
Nice,
yeah, that'd be a bit of fun after this
man.
as
I want to
well.
watch that again. That was a good
It's
film.
good, really.
I
Yeah.
feel like every time we do a podcast, I feel like I should watch Night and Day, and then always forget to get round to it. It's just so much work
Just
to do in the shop. It's just so much to do.
just always put on Night and Day.
Yeah.
Go then. What did you have for the algo?
Well, I went for Atomic Blonde,
Yeah. Okay.
similarish. Inside Man. I thought that's like more.
Ah,
This is more the heisty bit, right, rather than the
yeah.
Edgar Wright piece. And Shoot 'Em Up, which is a little bit closer
Mm,
to this, I think, a bit more comedy. I didn't want to choose any of the Edgar Wright films.
yeah.
So yeah, it's a tough one because it's clever with all the music connected, but ultimately it is sort of an action heist film, right? So it's
Yeah.
kind of like they're hard to. There aren't really. I guess you could have done Oceans, maybe. That's maybe a bit more comedy heist. I don't know. What did the algo
Yeah.
have?
So the algo went for Drive.
See, I just thought that was too easy, right?
Yeah. John Wick, Lock,
Oh, so just
Stock,
everyone that
and Two
drives
Smoking
cars.
Barrels, and
Yeah.
then The Nice Guys. And I did actually think almost if
Mm.
Drive, John Wick, Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, and The Nice Guys had a baby, that's what Baby Driver would be like. So do
Uh,
they like it almost that those four films combined is kind of
yeah.
what Baby
What is
Driver is
Baby
trying
Driver
to
is?
trying to
It's
be
a
or
tough
his
one, isn't it? Like it is hard
Mm.
to find one that's very similar to it, I think, because it is quite unique. And I think maybe that was one of the great things at the start is that it was so clever.
Yeah,
And maybe I should have included Hudson Hall with the music. Maybe that would have been the winner.
yeah, yeah.
I don't know. What's the verdict?
I think I'm going to give it to the Algo,
Yeah, okay.
purely because I think like all of those films combined is
Give
probably,
you the ultimate Baby Driver.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll have to
What's it? This scores on the
adjust.
doors.
Yeah, so it's 45-32 at the moment
Okay.
with
Getting closer.
with 11 films left. So it's
Yeah.
still up for grabs. You need to
Yeah.
you
They
need to
need a
get
little
6.
acceleration. Well,
Well, actually, I don't
considering
think I think actually like that doesn't 45 and 32 doesn't add up to 100 because I think there's been a couple of draws. So yeah, I think
uh,
you're just about ahead.
yeah. So I mean, is this technically now then number 100? Was it 80? 7 or something that 4 lines was. So, or is this falling outside of 100 and then we're doing yet another bonus episode?
Just gonna keep watching
Yeah.
the films. No,
Mm.
this is number 100. I think I do
Yeah,
still
okay.
really like when it works really well. I
Yeah.
do yeah, I do really like it. I think like this there were reasons why this wasn't in the top 100.
Yeah.
And yeah, I kind of feel like those still stand.
Mm.
So it's kind of like, yeah, you know, just kind of on that cusp
Yeah.
that like yeah, again, like as I watch films, you know,
Mm.
there's I think we've spoken about it, like since the pod there's been nothing that I would put in my top 100.
Yeah.
um so like yeah, just on the cusp
But
because it's
this is
good but
because you
like
haven't seen Beekeeper. So this is the problem.
get ready for season 2, hold on to your hats.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
it is
yeah,
good.
it's yeah, like I think obviously Limitless is 99 at the moment, which
Mm.
again I think
So
is like yeah, has its issues, but like
yeah, it's true, isn't it? And it's actually it is the fifth element effect or the fifth element rule where both of those films there's just substantial chunks that are too dry, don't bring
yeah,
the story forward, and I think
yeah,
the film suffers for it.
yeah.
I was going to ask
Whereas
you actually, so this will
98 is
then.
Juliet naked, so that you know that's
Oh
just
God.
wall to wall banger.
So bad. No one ever watched that film. So this is your third Edgar Wright film, right, on
Yeah,
the list. So I was thinking, does that mean he become the top director on your list now?
yeah, yeah. For individual, like
Ah,
obviously we're not
interesting.
counting
Yeah, sequels.
we're not counting Peter
Yeah.
Jackson. So yeah, no, and I think that's about right because even
Mm,
I put Hot Fuzz on, but could have put Shaun of the Dead on as well. So I do really
yeah.
like that, and I just it's kind of again as we'll kind of get to in a couple of weeks when we talk about Wes Anderson. Yeah, and like do you need two films that are the same? And that, you know, obviously I've just
Yeah.
spent the entire pod kind of not criticizing him, but like asking that question. But like this
Yeah.
uh um Scott Pilgrim and Hot Fuzz are different from each other as well.
Mm,
So it's not like they're
yeah.
all exactly the same. So there is kind of an extension there. And yeah, I do, you know, I will go and watch the, you know, an Edgar Wright film when it comes out. I'll go and watch it because I do like him. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I think it's
Fair
yeah, I
enough.
think it's fine for him to be the
Yeah.
most represented and to be my favorite.
There he
So
is. Yeah.
how about you then? Do you actually reorder it because you still you I
It's
think you
true.
for Four Lions you still had it in at number 73. It didn't drop out of your top 100.
It is, yeah, it is still in. So, yeah, I did like Four Lines. I think because I hadn't seen it before, I think you were saying once you've seen it, it was good for its time. And so when I watched it, I really could value how
Mm,
it was important for its time. But I think, as you were saying, but you rewatching it just doesn't really have the same that it did. But no, for me, yeah, not as good as the other Edgar Wright films that I really like, but yeah, I put it in the good section, so number 40. So sort of the back end of the good. So above Fellowship of the Ring, talking about Peter Jackson, and then
okay.
below The Apartment. So
Yeah,
I
okay.
thought I would definitely rather. I enjoyed The Apartment more. It was more flowing, I think,
Yeah,
than Baby Driver across the board.
nice. Nice.
Mm,
I mean,
yeah.
obviously, as we head into season 2, it makes you think,
Mm.
you know, do you have 101 to 105, you know, just in case, you know, any of the action movies slip out with a bit more of a critical eye on them, you know.
I've got
So
137 at the moment, so we're absolutely fine. Nothing to worry about.
definitely be able to cover them off.
Yes, there's definitely more than one Jason Statham film in his career. So maybe 137, who knows?
We will be able to go through them all.
Um,
Awesome. Well, yeah, there we go. That's the new 100 covered. I was trying to think about
mm,
what the quote would then be. Like theoretically, it should be a quote from the artist, and there's obviously only one quote for the artist, which is "Bang," uh,
bang.
which yeah, you know that we covered. But we also don't
Nice.
need a quote because we've already done them all. And
We've
actually,
done
the
them all.
artist isn't even 99, as we say. So
Yeah, it was all
there we
right.
go. We're back up to 100. So
Yeah.
we can
Everyone rest ezy.
smooth out
Stop
the.
sending us the comments.
When are you going to do your bonus episode? Let's just put on a mixtape and sit back and chill. Maybe put on Night and Day as well.